Alright folks, grab your coffee, sit back, and prepare to be amazed because today we're diving deep into a coin that might just be sitting in your pocket or piggy bank right now. And guess what? It could be worth a jaw-dropping $2 million. That's right. A single 1989 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, is making millionaires out of the luckiest collectors. Yeah, you heard me right. A penny. 1 cent. The same little copper guy you probably walk past in parking lots or toss in a fountain while making a wish about winning the lottery. Irony, right? So before you roll your eyes and say, it's just a penny, I'm about to tell you a story that'll have you checking your spare change faster than you can say Honest Abe. Let's take a trip back to 1989. Big hair was in, cassette tapes were still alive and well, and everyone was rocking denim like it was going out of style. Meanwhile, the US Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies like nobody's business. Totally normal. Copper-plated zinc, standard design, Abraham Lincoln looking serious as usual. But a few of those coins came out different. See, coins usually have a little letter on them, a mint mark, to show where they were made. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and so on. But some of those 1989 pennies came out with no mint mark at all. Nothing. Zilch. Just a clean slate under the date. That might not sound like a big deal, but here's the kicker: the absence of that mint mark was a mistake. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are money. Big money. Especially when they're rare, and especially when they're in great condition. Well, experts estimate that only a tiny handful of these 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies exist in pristine, uncirculated condition. And when one surfaced in mint state condition, we're talking sharp details, no scratches, like it just came off the press, collectors went wild. That bad boy fetched a price tag of $2 million on the private market. Now let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He had this giant jar of coins, I mean a whole pickle jar full of random change from the past 3 decades. He hands it to me and says, "Hey, you like coins, right? Knock yourself out." So I take it home and start sorting through it, thinking maybe I'll find a silver quarter or a wheat penny. After a couple of hours, I'm knee-deep in nickels and dimes when bam, I see a 1989 penny with no mint mark. I freeze. My heart starts doing jumping jacks. Could this be it? The one? The $1 million miracle? Turns out, mine was a regular Philadelphia mint penny. But for a second, man, I felt like I was holding the Holy Grail. It lit a fire under me, and I've been checking every single penny since. It's kinda like treasure hunting, except you're not getting dirty, and you don't need a shovel. Just sharp eyes and a bit of luck. So let's break down what makes this penny worth the big bucks. Second, there should be no mint mark under the year. Not a P, not a D, not even a faded one. Nothing. Third, and this is important, the condition matters. If it looks like it went through the washing machine, got chewed by a dog, and was used as a hockey puck, sorry to say it's not gonna bring in millions. Collectors want shiny, sharp details. Red, brown or red tones, no scratches, clean surfaces, the works. That's where the real value lies, and if you think you've got something special, get it graded. There are professional services like PCGS and NGC that will examine your coin and assign it a grade. The higher the grade, the higher the price. Always use a soft cloth or gloves when handling potentially valuable coins. You don't want to be the guy who ruined a $1 million penny with greasy fingerprints. So here's the deal. That little 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny? It might look like a throwaway, but to the right buyer, it's pure gold, well, metaphorically speaking. We're talking $2 million kind of gold. You don't have to be a coin expert or a full-time collector. Just a curious person with a sharp eye and maybe a little jar of old coins sitting in the kitchen. So go dig through your couch cushions, raid your piggy banks, and for the love of Lincoln, look through those coin jars in your garage. Who knows? You might be holding the next millionaire penny and not even know it. If this got your curiosity buzzing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, stories, and strategies to help you find coins worth real money. Whether you're a casual collector or just someone who likes making money the fun way, this channel's got your back. Smash that like button, drop a comment if you've got any interesting coin finds, and I'll catch you in the next video. Alright fellas, here's a question that might just change your life. What if I told you there's a little copper-colored coin sitting in your junk drawer right now, that could be worth $2.1 million? Yep, you heard that right. One single 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is worth more than most people's houses. So before you chuck that change into the Coinstar machine, listen up. You might be holding a retirement plan in the palm of your hand. But this ain't just any penny, my friend. This bad boy is like finding a golden ticket in your grocery store gum. And today, we're gonna dig into why it's worth a fortune, how to spot one, and how a simple coin hunt turned into one of the wildest stories of my life. So grab a cup of coffee, dig out that old coin jar, and let's talk about the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. Let's start with the basics. The 1984 Lincoln penny, also known as the memorial cent, is part of the same design we all know and love. Good old Abe Lincoln facing to the right, with the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Now most of these are worth, well, 1 cent. But there's a twist. Some 1984 pennies have a very special error that makes them extremely rare and valuable. This little copper miracle is missing a mint mark. Normally, you'd expect to see a small letter under the date, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this one? Nada. Zilch. Nothing. And that's what makes it special, but here's the real kicker. It's not just the missing mint mark. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth $2.1 million also has a doubling error. That's right. It's got what the pros call a double die obverse. Basically, when it was struck at the mint, the die that stamped Lincoln's face and the lettering was misaligned. So his face and some letters, like Liberty and In God We Trust, appear slightly doubled. It's like Abe had one too many coffees and decided to leave a blurry selfie behind. Now, let's talk condition. If you find this coin but it's all scratched up, it won't hit that 2.1 million mark. The big money goes to coins that are in mint state, shiny, crisp, and looking like they just rolled off the press yesterday. You're looking for sharp details, no major nicks or dents, and clear doubling. That's the sweet spot. So where do you even find one of these? Well, believe it or not, they've shown up in pocket change, coin rolls from the bank, and even those old penny jars we all forget about. One guy found his while helping his grandma clean out her basement. She had this big old jar of pennies and boom, there it was. He had no idea it was worth anything until he Googled it. A couple months later, he had it certified and sold it at auction for over $2 million. Wild, right? A few years ago, I was deep in a spring cleaning frenzy. You know that moment when you swear you're just gonna vacuum the living room and then suddenly you're knee-deep in the closet wondering why you kept one sock from 1993? Yeah, that kind of cleaning. Anyway, I found this dusty shoebox full of random coins I'd saved as a kid. Most were foreign coins I thought looked cool, some state quarters, and about 100 old pennies. Or at least I wasn't back then, but I figured I'd run through them just for fun. That's when I stumbled across a 1984 penny. No mint mark. The date looked a little off. And guess what? There was that faint doubling on Lincoln's face. My heart was pounding. I grabbed a magnifying glass, looked it up online, and started comparing it to pictures of the famous double die error. I thought I hit the jackpot. But it turned out mine wasn't in great condition. Still, I got a few $100 for it from a collector. And that was the moment I got hooked on coin hunting. Now I check my change every time I go to the store. My wife thinks I'm nuts. My kids roll their eyes. But hey, one day, it might just pay off. Let's break down the real facts again. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny with the double die error is one of the most valuable error coins in circulation today. There are only a handful known in pristine condition. And if you're lucky enough to find one in top shape, collectors are willing to pay millions. That's not a typo, millions with an M, rarity, demand, and condition. These coins are a perfect storm. They're hard to find, they have a recognizable error, and they represent a moment in US mint history where someone slipped up big time. That combo creates a collector's dream. So here's the deal. Next time you get change back from the grocery store, don't just toss it in your car's cup holder. Take a closer look. That little copper coin might just be your ticket to a new house, a fancy car, or that fishing boat you've been dreaming about for 20 years. Coin hunting is way more fun than it sounds. It's like treasure hunting, but you don't need a shovel or a map. Just a good eye and a little patience. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that are worth serious money, hit that subscribe button and join the crew. We've got stories, strategies, and surprises coming your way every week. And hey, you never know, your next big find might be sitting right under your nose. Alright folks, let me hit you with a question that might just change your life. Have you ever handed over a penny thinking it was worthless, only to later find out that sucker was worth $2.2 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $2.2 million bucks. From a penny. Just one. And no, this isn't a game show, it's real life. Today we're talking about a 2014 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's lighting up the coin collecting world with its jaw-dropping value. We're diving deep into why this little copper-colored coin is causing such a stir, how to spot it, and why you might already have one hiding between your couch cushions. And hey, if you're new here, welcome to the channel where we turn pocket change into life change. Let's dig in before someone else finds that million-dollar penny under their car seat. Let me start by taking you back to one Saturday morning a few years ago. I was digging through an old jar of coins looking for quarters for the laundry machine, because of course, the card reader was broken again, when I spotted this slightly shinier than usual penny. Nothing flashy, no diamonds or sparkles, just your regular, plain old Abe Lincoln. I flipped it over, no mint mark. Huh. Thought nothing of it. I almost spent it on a candy bar, no joke. But something told me to hold on to it. Call it fate. Call it penny paranoia. Either way, that coin got me started on this crazy journey of coin collecting. Now back to the 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Most pennies from 2014 are pretty standard. You'll find them with either a D for Denver or no mint mark at all, which typically means it was minted in Philadelphia. So what's the big deal, right? Here's the kicker. The penny we're talking about wasn't just any no-mint mark coin. It had a rare error, and that's what makes collectors drool. So what kind of error are we talking about? Drum roll, it's what we call a double die obverse. That means the front of the coin, the side with Lincoln's charming profile, was struck twice. This causes a doubling effect on the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even the date. Not only is it noticeable to the naked eye, but when authenticated, it boosts the value of the coin through the roof. Another factor is the coin's condition. The million-dollar penny? It was in pristine, uncirculated shape. We're talking MS 67 or higher on the grading scale, which is coin nerd speak for, basically flawless. Only a few of these double-die 2014 no-mint mark pennies have been found, which drives up demand like crazy. Rarity, high-grade condition, and a weird factory oopsie. That's the trifecta of coin collecting glory. Grab a magnifying glass. You're looking for doubling in the text on the front of the coin. Pay close attention to the word liberty and the phrase, "In God We Trust." If they look like they've got a shadow or appear slightly echoed, you might be onto something. Check the date. It needs to be 2014, and it should have no mint mark. That's your clue that it was minted in Philly, where this particular error is known to have happened. Don't panic. If you think you've got one, don't try to clean it or toss it on eBay. You'll want to get it professionally graded first. That's where the big money starts rolling in. You might be wondering why a tiny little error could be worth millions. Simple. Collectors love stories. They love the idea that something rare and unusual slipped past the mint's watchful eyes. And when only a handful of these coins exist in high condition, people with deep pockets are willing to pay top dollar to own a piece of that story, and you, sitting there with a change jar full of pennies, might just be holding the next $1 million find. Look, when I started this hobby, I was just a guy who didn't want to get ripped off by the Coinstar machine. Seriously. But once I found out that everyday coins could be worth thousands or even millions, I was hooked, and let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the feeling of flipping through old pennies and realizing you're basically playing a real-life treasure hunt. Sure, it takes patience. Sure, sometimes your family thinks you've lost your mind because you're crouched over the kitchen table with a loupe and a flashlight. But when you find that one magical coin, totally worth it. Tonight, instead of scrolling through social media or watching reruns of some show you've already seen 3 times, dig out that jar of pennies. Grab a magnifying glass. Look for that 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. You never know. That humble copper coin could be your ticket to a $2.2 million payday, and if this kind of coin hunting adventure gets your blood pumping like it does mine, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth serious money. I've got strategies, stories, and wild coin facts coming your way every single week. Who knows, your next grocery run might turn into a gold rush. Hey there fellow coin hunters and curious folks, welcome back to the channel where pockets turn into treasure chests faster than your grandma can bake a pie. Now let me hit you with something that'll make you want to check your change jar right now. What if I told you that one little copper-colored penny just might be worth $2.3 million? Yeah, that's right, I said million with an M. We're talking about the 2019 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and no, it's not a prank, it's not clickbait, it's not even something I made up after too much coffee. Stick around because we're about to dive deep into why this unassuming little cent is making headlines, shocking collectors, and maybe just maybe turning a lucky coin collector into a millionaire. Alright, let's kick things off by talking about what makes the 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so special. First off, let's clear up what a no-mint Mark penny is. So you're looking at your change and you see a shiny 2019 penny and you're thinking, cool, old Abe looks good this year, but then you notice something. There's no little letter under the date. Normally you'd see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, but here not a zip zilch, and that's where the fun begins. Now, just because it doesn't have a mint mark doesn't automatically make it worth millions. Most 2019 pennies were minted in Philadelphia and those coins didn't get a mint mark. That's normal, but here's the kicker, there are certain error coins from that year that were printed with mistakes, and if you've been in the coin game long enough, you know that mistakes mean money. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, and some truly rare flukes in the minting process. These aren't just small goofs, they're big enough that coin grading services like PCGS and NGC have lost their minds over them. But how does a penny go from being worth 1 cent to $2.3 million? Simple: scarcity and demand. There is one particular 2019 penny out there that was struck with such a bizarre error and preserved in such pristine condition that it's been valued at $2.3 million. Yes, it's certified, yes, it's legit, and yes, someone actually paid that. Now you might be thinking, oh come on, who's paying millions for a penny? Well, let me tell you, collectors are passionate folks. Some folks collect stamps, some collect baseball cards, and then you have us coin nerds, and when a once-in-a-lifetime coin shows up, people open their wallets. Now let me tell you a quick story about how I got into coin collecting, because I know some of y'all are new to this. I was about 12 years old digging through an old shoebox in my grandfather's attic. The box was filled with coins, old, dusty, rusty, but I thought, hey, why not? Well, long story short, I found a 1943 steel penny and I thought I hit the jackpot. I ran downstairs screaming like I found buried treasure. My grandpa just laughed and said, son, if you get rich off that little hunk of metal, just remember who let you in the attic. Spoiler alert, that 1943 steel penny wasn't the $1 million version, but it was enough to spark the obsession, and here I am decades later still digging through change and loving every minute of it. Now back to the 2019 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. If you think you've got one of these gems in your pocket, here's what to look for. First, check for doubling on Abe's face or on the inscriptions. Look for unusual shapes around the rim or misaligned text. If you see something strange, don't spend it yet. Get that bad boy evaluated. You can send it off to a professional grading service, and if they come back and say yep, you've got a rare error, well, you might just want to sit down and call your accountant, because things are about to get interesting. And let's talk about condition, because that matters. A penny in rough shape, even if it's rare, won't fetch top dollar, but one that's crisp, clean, and shiny with strong definition, that's the kind of coin that breaks records. So what's the current market doing? These high-end error coins are hot right now. Especially modern ones. That's because people didn't used to pay attention to recent years. They figured, oh, it's too new to be valuable, but now the tables have turned. The 2019 penny is proof of that. Coin collectors are now scouring coin rolls, pocket change, and even those trays at the gas station counter hoping to strike gold and copper form. Did you know the Lincoln penny has been around since 1909? That's over a century of staring at Abe's face every time we drop a coin in a vending machine. Talk about long-term brand recognition, and over those years we've seen all kinds of variations: wheat pennies, steel pennies, memorial backs, shield designs, and yes, you guessed it, more errors than my uncle's fantasy football picks. But this 2019 error, it's the stuff of legends, and if you're holding one right now, you might want to think twice before tossing it into the tip jar at your favorite diner. Alright my friends, we've covered a lot today. We went from basic penny to multi-million-dollar marvel. We looked at mint marks or the lack thereof. We talked about errors, and we even took a stroll down my memory lane in my grandpa's attic. If there's one thing to take away from this video, it's this: check your change. You never know when a regular old penny might turn out to be a treasure, and don't just glance at it, really look at it, because hidden in those little copper discs could be your ticket to early retirement. So do yourself a favor, grab a magnifying glass, a good light, and start inspecting those coins. Don't let the opportunity slip through your fingers like a wet bar of soap. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new, or if you're just as fascinated with rare coins as I am, then hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next episode. We've got plenty more treasure to uncover, and I'm here to help you find it. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or just tell me, what's the oldest coin you've got in your collection? I read every single one and love hearing your stories. Have you ever had a penny in your hand and thought, man, if this thing was worth just $1, I'd be rich? Well, what if I told you there's a 1996 Lincoln penny floating around out there that's not just worth $1, or even $100, but a jaw-dropping $2.4 million? Yeah, you heard me right. One little brown coin, the kind that disappears into your couch cushions, could be your golden ticket. So if you've got a jar full of pennies somewhere, don't go dumping them in the Coinstar just yet. Stick around, because today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1996 Lincoln penny that made headlines and made one lucky collector a millionaire. And trust me, you do not want to miss this. A couple years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know, typical Saturday: dust, spiderwebs, and boxes of mystery. We're tossing old junk when I stumble across an old Folgers coffee can filled to the brim with pennies. I'm talking about a proper time capsule. My uncle looks at me and goes, "You want those? If you can carry them, they're yours." Never one to turn down free money, I lugged that thing home like it was filled with bricks. That I didn't think much of it at first. But one night, while watching TV and eating cold pizza, I started going through the pile. That's when the rabbit hole opened up. I began researching dates, mint marks, errors, you name it. And that's when I first read about the 1996 penny that's worth millions. Well, to the untrained eye, it looks just like any other penny. Good old Abraham Lincoln staring off into the distance like he just remembered he left the stove on. It's got the usual copper-plated zinc composition, weighs about 2.5 grams, and has that little D mint mark under the date, showing it was minted in Denver. The $1 million version of this coin is what collectors call a unicorn, a super rare error coin that somehow slipped past all quality control at the US Mint. This particular penny has a unique combination of minting errors and pristine condition that makes it one of a kind. We're talking a sharply struck design, double die obverse, and a freakishly rare off-center strike with near-perfect alignment. You might be thinking, alright, cool, but why is this penny worth $2.4 million? Isn't that a little much for a coin that can't even buy a piece of gum? Great question. In the world of coin collecting, value boils down to three things: rarity, condition, and demand. This 1996 penny checks all three boxes like it's trying to win an Olympic medal. There's only one known to exist with this exact combination of errors. It's graded MS-70, which is the highest possible grade a coin can get. That's like finding a vintage car with 0 miles on it and still wrapped in factory plastic. And let's not forget the collectors, these folks are serious. When a unique piece like this comes up, they're willing to shell out major cash. The coin sold at auction recently for $2.4 million. Imagine flipping a penny into a wishing fountain and finding out it was worth more than your house. I'd be diving in after it. First, check the date. It's gotta be 1996. Then look for the D mint mark. If you've got that, take a closer look, use a magnifying glass if you have to. Look for a doubling effect on the date or Lincoln's face. Check if the coin looks slightly off-center. And if it looks unusually crisp or shiny, you might just have something that if you're unsure, get it evaluated. There are legit coin grading services like PCGS and NGC that will give you the real scoop. Just don't take it to some shady pawn shop where they offer you $5 and a soda. Now, back to that coffee can of pennies I got from my uncle. Did I find a 1996 D worth millions? Nope. But I did find a 1943 steel penny in great shape that fetched me a couple $100. Not bad for a pile of forgotten change, right? And let me tell you, the joy of the hunt is addictive. I now check my change like a hawk. The cashier at the gas station probably thinks I've got some sort of penny obsession. She once asked, "Are you trying to find a secret message on those coins?" I just smiled and said, "Nah, I'm trying to pay off my mortgage." So here's the bottom line. That plain-looking penny in your pocket might just be a multi-million-dollar prize in disguise. All it takes is a little curiosity, a bit of knowledge, and a whole lot of luck. But hey, crazier things have happened, right? Now, if you enjoyed this little treasure hunt of a story, and you want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, or at least give you a great story at the dinner table, then hit that subscribe button. Tap that bell so you don't miss any more tips, tricks, and coin collecting surprises. And while you're at it, drop a comment below and let me know, have you ever found a valuable coin? Or are you about to start digging through your change right now? Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep your eyes sharp, your pennies close, and your coffee cans even closer. We turn your pocket change into potential treasure chests. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever handed over a penny and thought, meh, it's just 1 cent? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about a tiny coin with a massive punch. The 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $2.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. One little copper-colored coin worth more than a luxury yacht, a Lambo, and my entire snack budget for the year. Now before you go flipping your couch cushions and raiding grandma's coin jar, stick around. I'm gonna tell you what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and how a simple mistake by the US Mint turned this penny into a millionaire maker. Plus, I've got a personal story involving a shoebox, a garage sale, and one epic, you won't believe this, moment. So settle in, grab a snack, and let's talk treasure. Alright, let's set the stage. It's 1979. Gas costs under $1, disco's dying a slow death, and everyone's got feathered hair. Meanwhile, over at the US Mint, something odd happens. Now normally, pennies from Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. That's totally normal. But this particular batch of 1979 no mint mark Lincoln pennies? They had something else going on. Something juicy. These rare pennies were struck using a unique die, and they've got some standout features. Some collectors believe a few were minted with an experimental alloy. Others suspect an accidental die variety. Whatever the reason, only a handful of these valuable oddballs have been found. That's why one of these babies went for a staggering $2.5 million in a private sale. And no, that is not a typo. That is 6 zeros behind the 2.5. Start by checking for a strong strike and clean design. The detail on Lincoln's hair, jacket, and even the word Liberty should be super crisp. Next, look closely at the date. Some of the valuable ones show doubling. That's when the numbers or letters look like they have a shadow or echo. That's called a double die, and it's like finding the golden ticket in a chocolate bar. Also, make sure there's no mint mark under the date. If it says D or S, sorry buddy, keep looking. But if there's nothing there, you might just be in business, and let me be clear, not every 1979 no mint mark penny is worth millions. Most are worth, well, a penny. Maybe a few cents if they're shiny and uncirculated. But the rare one, the Holy Grail? That's the one with those special traits. It's the needle in the haystack. But hey, needles are worth looking for when they come with seven figures. A few years back, I'm cleaning out my parents' garage. You know, one of those spring cleaning adventures where you start with a broom and end up buried under 10 boxes of VHS tapes and expired coupons. I stumble across this dusty old shoebox labeled junk drawer. Inside? A pile of coins. Old ones, new ones, foreign ones, even a token from Chuck E. Cheese. I sit down, start sorting them just for fun, and there it is. A 1979 penny. No mint mark. My heart skips a beat. I run to my magnifying glass like a kid chasing the ice cream truck. I inspect every detail. Sharp lettering. Clean strike. Could it be? It wasn't the penny. But man, for a few glorious minutes, I had visions of beachfront property and retiring early. Still, it kicked off my obsession with coin collecting. That little rush of maybe having something rare? It's addictive. And who knows, if I had tossed that shoebox, I wouldn't be here telling you this. So yeah, check your drawers. Check your couch. Check that weird coin that's been living in your car cup holder since the Bush administration. Because one of those little pennies could change your life. And here's something else. The coin market is hotter than a summer day in Phoenix. Collectors are always looking for these rare finds. A pristine 1979 no-mint mark penny with doubling, or from that rare die, can easily bring offers from private collectors or auction houses. One guy traded his rare penny for enough money to buy his dream house. Another paid off medical bills and then some. It's not just about money either. It's about the thrill. The hunt. The community of folks who get way too excited about copper discs. It's a whole world, and if you're here watching this, you're already one of us. Don't underestimate the power of a penny. Especially not a 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. If you find the right one, it's not just pocket change, it's life-changing money. And the best part? You could be sitting on it right now without even knowing. Check your change. Dig through those jars. Give that junk drawer a second chance. And if you've got a coin you think is special, don't be afraid to get it appraised or show it to an expert. You might just hit the jackpot, and hey, if this kind of stuff gets your gears turning, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more wild stories, coin tips, and treasure hunts coming your way. Whether you're new to collecting or have been doing it since Lincoln had real sideburns, there's something here for everyone. Thanks for watching, folks. May your pennies be rare, your quarters be valuable, and your junk drawers be full of hidden gold.